We're just trying to pack it all in on the last day here of Comic-Con, so we're keeping it rapid fire. It's rapid fire. You're the Terrifics. I'm Michael Arts. This is BeTerrific, your live continuing coverage of New York Comic-Con 2015 in New York City. We got a very special set of guests for you right here. Okay, you ready? From the Pop Culture Hero Coalition, I have got Kerry Goldman, and I've got her partner, who you guys know from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. She is beautiful. She is wonderful. Of course, the wonderful Chase Masterson. Thank you so much for joining us on BeTerrific,
Mike.
both
Thanks,
you guys. And here's the thing,
to be here.
It's great to have you. It's not just about like talking about Star Trek and reminiscing and all this stuff. This is about you guys making a difference and doing a really good thing with the Pop Culture Hero Coalition. You're stopping bullying, you're talking about bringing things to the light of day, and you're talking about doing really good things. So tell me about the Pop Culture Hero Coalition and how it came about.
Well, thank you. Carrie and I partnered because she's a world-renowned heroism expert, and she works very largely in the field against bullying. She's a nationwide speaker, and she wrote the book, the go-to book on ending bullying. And having been in the Star Trek universe for quite a long time, I saw a lot of fans who've been bullied, and I saw the real need to stand up for them and to just make a stand for real-life heroism, not just on screen, but to let our fans know that they can too be heroes in real life.
That's really awesome. I got a question for you. You were probably, I imagine, you were a cool kid in high school. You were a cheerleader?
No.
No?
No. Not at all.
That's actually how we met.
So I mean, so you probably got bullied.
I got horribly bullied.
Really?
I had long straight hair and glasses, and I was just afraid of showing anything about myself. I was terribly shy. And that is how we met. I'll tell Carrie, Carrie tell the story.
I wrote an article about how my then first grade daughter was being for liking Star Wars. And the article went crazy viral, and thousands of people started to send us messages, one of whom was Chase. And so later on, when I was writing a book about bullying, and I interviewed Felicia Day, and I interviewed Chase Masterson, and I interviewed people from the cast of Star Wars, and I contacted Chase and said, you know, what can we do? And she said, let's start this coalition, let's start going. So we go to San Diego Comic-Con and C2E2, and we come to New York Comic-Con. We had an amazing panel on Friday with a representative from the United Nations.
Wow.
We had a fellow who came all the way in, Suleiman Bakit from Jordan, where he's the leading comic book writer for Arab students.
In extreme, countering extremist violence.
Wow.
Right. So we wanted...
Oh, no, go, yeah, you want to?
I'll just tell you this real fast. We wanted to make this as big an effort as it could be because it deserves it, because our fans who have been bullied deserve this kind of focus. So
a lot of the Terrifics have been bullied, unfortunately, and we're all trying to end it. I don't like it. They're terrific. It's really interesting. I kind of straddled the fence. I had friends who were cool, and I had friends who were not the cool kids, and I always tried to make peace with everybody, and unfortunately sometimes, and I regret this, I did a little bullying, but I also got bullied too. But I was the kid. I was a kid who stood up for myself when I got bullied. A lot of kids couldn't, and I stood up for other kids. And I think that bullying is ridiculous, and especially we see it so worse now with online and cyberbullying.
Because you can't stand up for yourself in the same way.
Right, you can't. And on top of it, it's anonymous. You can sit behind a computer, you can say anything, and people say horrible things. I have a question though, because I've been thinking about this lately. And I kind of feel bad about it. Like, I break people's chops a lot here, but I do it in jest, or at least I think it's in jest. I think it's for humor and for the show and for whatever. And sometimes I feel like maybe that's actually bullying somebody. And I wonder, like, and I tell people, like, I'm just playing around. But if it is bullying, I feel bad and I want to stop. If it's not, because to me, in my mind, I separate that. I don't, it's like, hey man, could you be any slower? You know, something like that. Or, you heard me with TJ before when he didn't bring the microphone over. I said, hey, pick up the pace, let's go. You know, to me, I'm playing around.
I would love to answer that. And this is one of the things I talk about with kids. So if you say just kidding, it works if they genuinely think it's funny too.
But how do you know that? How do I know if he thinks it's funny or that he realizes that I'm kidding?
You have to do a couple things. One is you do read, and this is why online is hard. You read facial expression, you read body language. Someone who's truly not thinking it's funny, they start to shrink a little. They get quiet, they pull back. If someone who you think that you joke around with a lot and you're not sure, check in with them.
But I do it to everybody equally. Is that okay?
It's certainly, it's your persona.
Sure.
So that is part
Yeah,
of
I'm
like someone
boisterous. Like,
knows who you are.
I walk into a restaurant, I'm like, hey, what's up, Tony? How's it going?
Right, so that's
Yeah.
if your persona is outgoing like that, it's not the same as being personally offended by
Right.
somebody attacking you individually.
It's in the environment too.
Right.
I mean, it's Comic-Con. You're playful. Everyone's
Right.
playful.
But it's good that you're even cognizant
Yeah.
of it. Like,
So, I
if
have
you even think twice and say maybe that person doesn't think it's okay, check in with them.
And then I got another one for you. So this guy took down our live broadcast out of our studio a couple weeks ago doing something I told him not to do twice. And it really bothered me. And so we come up with this thing that we're going to do as punishment. We're kind of joking, though. We're going to shoot a rubber hockey puck, not like a real hockey puck, but a rubber hockey puck at him. He's got to block a couple shots. Is that bullying?
How does he feel? Is he frightened or is he for it?
He's for it. He's all for it.
So that is the key. The key is finding out if
And I
the
keep checking in. I
person-
keep asking him off air, are you okay with this? Are you sure you're
The key
okay
is
with this?
finding out if the person who's the quote target
Yeah.
feels intimidated or not. It's not bullying if the person who's the target doesn't feel threatened, intimidated, or fearful.
Now, let me give you one more example, and then I want to talk about real bullying and the real problems you're solving.
Right.
But I'm a big competitive guy. I play sports. I love playing sports, and I talk a lot of smack when I play sports. They're not personal attacks, just like I'm going to beat you, I'm better than you, I'm coming down the ice, whatever it is, I'm going to talk, I'm going to say, look at the scoreboard. I'm trying to intimidate you there because I'm playing sports. Is there a place for that in the sporting arena where we're competing against each other and I'm trying to get you off your guard, so to speak, or is that bullying as well?
That is a really fascinating and awesome question. And the problem with it is it's a slippery slope. So there is the, hey, I'm going to get you off your game a little bit. And then there's where you cross the line, maybe you're calling someone a fag or a pussy or things that start to really get under into the personal attacks. If you look at like Jonathan Martin and the situation that happened with him, the football player.
But that's different.
That was like severe bullying.
Absolutely.
Right.
Those are personal attacks and
Right.
stuff like that. And that was your own teammate.
Right.
And that's much more like hazing. I'm talking about like you and I are playing. I took on Breanne McLaughlin, two-time winning the silver medal USA goalie. We had a lot of fun. She challenged me to get on the ice with her. She's a goalie, two-time US Olympic hockey goalie. And I honestly didn't know if I was going to be able to score or not. I really believed in myself. And I talked smack on air to have fun, but like just I'm going to score. And we got the Terrifics involved, and then we did it live. And the whole time on the ice, I'm telling her I'm going to score, and I'm coming for you. And where would you like me to put it? Because I'm going to put it over your shoulder if that's where you want it, or between your legs, or over your arm. Like, I want to intimidate you. That's what I'm going to do.
It's a fine line.
It
to
is
be
a fine
honest.
line, right?
And especially because the culture of sports allows for an unbelievable amount of aggressiveness and also sexualization. So,
But I didn't make it sexual at all,
which is good
yeah.
because then
Yeah.
you really start to have to be very careful with it. I think a lot of it is checking in with that person so that even if it's after the fact, let's say you want in the game to get inside someone's head. If after the game you make that effort and you go to the person and say, you know, this was for the purpose of the game. I respect what you do, and I hope that you're okay.
Well,
that matters.
Right.
The funny
Great
part is
game. And if they're
sometimes-
giving it back or if they're cowering, I mean,
Right.
it's all the energy
I'll
in the
tell
moment,
you about my
right?
game. It's really funny because sometimes a goalie will make a good save on the other team, even if it's on me, and I'll skate by them and go, "Oh, that was a great save. That was really a good
That's
save."
good,
And
as you
part
should.
of me is actually saying that's a great save, and I want to congratulate them. On the other hand, part of me is trying to like make them think that like, you know, I don't know. I think there's a psychological game that I'm playing there, but I really do. Especially after the game, as you said, like I'll be like, I always find the other goalie, and I'm always like, you had a great
Right.
game, you really played well. Unless I put 9 on them, and then I'm like, oh hey, gave it a good effort.
So the key
Yeah.
is that eye-to-eye contact. One of the reasons why.
By the way, I think this is really good because this is stuff people don't talk
Oh,
about,
yeah.
and this is
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
it's very apparent
Yeah.
when somebody goes, "You're a jerk." You
Right.
know that that's bullying, right? It's very apparent when somebody goes, "You wear the worst clothing."
Right.
Okay,
No, this
but
is
this
the
a
fine
fine
lines
it's the
are
fine
important.
line
the fine
stuff.
lines
Yeah.
are where we need to talk.
And that's where,
Yeah.
it, by the way, that's where that's where it all starts. It
The
all
slippery
stems from
slopes.
there.
Yeah.
It is.
And,
And
that
then-
is why online it's actually so hard because people can't read your intention. So let's say you write something where you're talking smack online. You can't look that person in the eye later and say, "Hey, you know I'm kidding, right?" You can't do that.
I'm the
Right.
worst with emails. I don't joke at all. But sometimes
Right.
people think I'm angry when I'm not. I don't know why.
It's
and
the
I'm like,
Emails,
intention,
that
it's
kind
hard
of
to
thing,
read.
yeah.
but it's also how
yeah.
people take it. They might be in a
Yeah.
bad mood and think I'm angry. And I hate email. I think it should be just like, yes, no, here's my PDF document, here are the pictures, like contracts. real communication, I think, still needs to at least happen
I
over the
agree
phone,
with
and
you.
we can do video
Yeah.
chats
I
now.
agree.
Yeah.
I love reading
Anything
people's eyes, what you're
important,
talking about.
especially conflict.
Yeah.
So one of the places where we see this
Oh,
is
I
if
immediately,
you have
if there's a bad
conflict,
email, I pick up the
that's
phone and
right.
go.
Then
Yeah.
that is excellent, because one of the things we try to teach people is don't resolve conflict through texts or through messaging, because you're primed to already misinterpret the tone.
Right.
So if someone is mad and you're trying to text it out with them, it's going to turn into a war.
I'm old school. I love the phone.
Yeah, I like the phone too.
Also, it's really important to realize when things that are really blatant are very big, and
Yes.
a lot of people pass things off. There's no place at all for racial slurs.
Right.
There's never any place at all
Oh.
for misogynistic slurs, and
Right.
we're making
Thank
a
you,
real
Chase.
stand
I
against.
can't
It's not
thank you
me
enough. I'm
ever.
100%.
We're
Right.
making a real stand in addition to bullying, and from the schoolyard up through adult and
Yep.
corporate bullying and even economic bullying. We're making a stand against racism.
There is
and
no
against
place for
misogyny.
racism.
That's
There's no place for it.
extremely important, and it's never a small
Very
thing.
Well, and there's one thing too, like, I agree with you 100%, but there's also, like, if you make a joke about yourself, like you say, I don't know, I'm just gonna say this, and I'm just to
Right.
give an example. Let's say you say I have a big butt. It's not okay for me to then say, you have a big butt, or make a joke about your big butt. You're not giving
Never.
me permission.
Right, you are not giving permission. And in fact, one of the things we see that's very big problem, you'll see it on Twitter, is someone within their own group of friends might call themselves a name that is considered a slur. You might see a kid call himself a slur.
Right.
But then if someone else says, yeah, you N-word or whatever it is,
Oh my
you
God.
can't
Inappropriate.
Can
do
I
it.
just say
No.
something right
That's
now?
not okay.
Can I
Right.
just say something right now? Everybody in the world should stop using the N-word.
I agree.
interviewed Eddie
Yeah.
Griffin years ago, and it was right after a movie that he had made, and I'm sitting there with him, and I say, use the N-word every second in this movie. Why? And he goes, well, I want to desensitize it because, I want to take it away from the white man. And I'm like,
It doesn't
It's a
work.
terrible
It's
I'm like-
not happening.
I'm like, hey, pal, you're not desensitizing anything. You're making it worse, and you're telling all these other people it's okay to use.
Right.
It should never, ever be used.
Right.
And the C word for women should
Yep.
never, ever be used.
And other words for women that
It-
people call
Yeah.
them. I mean, there's
No,
a huge
absolutely. But I mean,
amount
these
of
are two
them.
words that
Yeah.
absolutely should never come out of anybody's mouth. But yes,
Right.
there are a ton. But then the other thing is also when people say, like, I have a big butt, right? Or I say, like, oh man, I look so much better with hair. I actually, like, people really, let's be honest, you want somebody to say, no, you look great. You want somebody to say,
Right,
your
right.
butt's not big. Yeah, actually you look better this way.
There's so much in the world that tears us down
You're seeking for
constantly,
validation.
and it's everybody in the world needs support,
What
whether
you-
people want to admit it or not. The smallest thing can happen to change a life, and kindness should never be underrated. No kindness is too small.
I agree with you. Honestly, like, I love when I go into, like, this morning I'm in Starbucks, and I don't know, I was really tired, so I didn't talk much. And then when I leave, I'm like, hey, everybody, have a good day. And, everybody was like, oh, hey, have a good day. Even the people
Yeah.
online and
Helps,
everything.
yeah.
Helps the
like,
world,
what-
yeah.
And then I felt good. I was like, oh, that's cool.
It
Yeah.
feels better. It feels
It
better
does.
to do something kind.
It does. Now,
Yeah.
do you guys also have resources for people
Yes.
who are getting bullied
Yes.
and all that stuff?
Yes,
And-
Sherry should
brought
give
it.
the name of her book because it's an amazing resource. Fantastic.
I wrote a book that is published by HarperCollins.
Yes.
It's called Bullied
Yeah.
by Carrie Goldman. The full title is Bullied: What Every Parent, Teacher, and Kid Needs to Know About Ending the Cycle of Fear. But if you just put Bullied by Carrie Goldman, you'll find it. And it looks at bullying from the point of view of the bully. I interviewed people who were former bullies. From the point of view of the bystanders, the people who are, you were saying, hey, I'm kind of in the middle.
Just letting it happen.
And it looks at it from what can you do, not just to be in the middle, but to act as a witness or an ally for somebody. And it looks at it from the point of view of the targets, the victims, as well as from the culture that is creating the cruelty, like reality-based TV and other things. Why are we having a rise in anonymous social media cruelty and things like that?
Okay.
And that's where the name of the coalition comes in. We're Pop Culture Hero Coalition. We'd originally named ourselves Pop Culture Anti-Bullying Coalition, but we're making a stand to be more pro-social, as Carrie has put
Yes,
it.
pro-social.
In a way that will teach people that
How to
you
be
can
a
cut
hero.
in, you can
Yeah.
step in and be a hero,
Yep.
just like our on-screen heroes, just like somebody said to us.
Oh, that's a great point. You can step in and make
Right.
a
Yes.
difference.
Like you admire Superman, you admire,
Yes.
like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Great, here's how you can do it in your school.
Okay.
We have a wall of encouragement at our booth. I'll just tell you real
Yeah.
fast. And people put messages up to kids who have been bullied. And one of my favorites is Superman isn't a hero because he has special powers. He's a hero because he stands up for people who have none.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's a good one. And
Yep.
and he's their voice as well.
Yep.
And okay, so I have two questions, one question for each of you, and then I know you got to get back.
Thank you.
But before I do that, it's proherocoalition.com.
Pop culture.
I'm sorry,
Popcultureherocoalition.com.
Right.
And if you follow us on Twitter, we're at Superhero IRL, at Superhero
IRL,
like in real life.
Okay, and by
Which
the
is
way,
you.
even if you just start to be more cognizant of this and start making some changes, it gets the ball rolling,
yeah.
so it's good.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why I bring up some of
Even
these
if you
things on
don't
the balance.
retweet something that you see that's funny, but you realize is mean.
Right.
Even if you take that step.
Yeah.
And I realize we're on the, it's good. That's why we're good. We talked about the fences. So for you first, for you first. Sorry, because I'm taking you off topic for a second. So
Okay.
for you
You're probably
first.
gonna talk about Star Trek.
Yeah, that's of course. I can't let her out of here without talking about Star Trek.
Hey.
Of course.
All right, so real quick for you.
Yes.
When you did the research in the book, you talked to the bullies. We were always told you pop the bully right in the mouth, basically, whether you take the stand or you actually physically do it, right? Obviously, that's not what we do anymore. But what was the reaction when you talked to these former bullies when they got popped in the mouth, either verbally because you took a stand or physically? What was the reaction? Because I'm dying to know how a bully reacts to that, because that's how we were always brought up, right? You stand up to a bully, you pop them right in the mouth.
So it's an interesting question. That advice works great for about a generation ago, before the internet. So when I spoke to people who were bullied, they didn't like the way it felt.
Sure.
And different outcomes. One of them became more committed to being a bully. He stopped picking on the person who fought back at him, but he unleashed it even harder on other people.
Sure.
Another guy, it really did kind of knock a little sense into him, and he started thinking, who am I hurting? But unfortunately, most of them, they just shift their rage.
Sure.
Maybe they don't pick on you anymore, but then they're that much harder on the next skinny little guy.
So
and
giving
so
them-
it's not a healthy thing, because you might save yourself, but you're not saving the world.
Right, and you're so giving them a taste of their own medicine doesn't work, and it
No, it
unfortunately
makes them mad.
Right, and we're all special and we're all different, and clearly the bully is suffering too, but we
Yes.
all suffer in some way, and we're all insecure. All right, Star Trek.
Thank you.
What's your favorite episode ever, or your favorite? It wasn't the episode. It was what's your favorite Star Trek memory?
Wow. It's got to be when I've heard fans come back who were serving in the Gulf War.
Oh, I
And
love
we
that.
have people that were serving in special forces and really doing heavy duty missions. And I've had several times soldiers come and tell me, we were in the Gulf, we were on a secret location, and we would get word that we had a new episode of Deep Space Nine back at the camp, and we would come straight back, and before we'd even take a shower or get food, we would watch this episode together, because it gave us hope for the future. It stood for what was important, and it was a reminder of home.
I love that, because our troops are so important and they're so overlooked, and we talk about it all the time on BeTerrific, that it doesn't matter if you're for a war or against a war. The troops go in there blindly to defend the American freedom and the American way of life, and they do it for us. And so to support them and to make them, that would be my memory too, like best memory too, if I had that, because to make them happy for 5 minutes in a day, to change their life in some way, it's all worth it, and that's a great memory. And
Remove
is,
them from
and
the
it's-
politics of it.
Yeah.
They should get the unconditional support.
oh,
It is.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And it's hope for the future, and that's what we're trying to instill in Comic-Con here. We have the power of fandom. This phenomenon can change the world. If we put our energies into good things for the actual world, it's great to love the stuff on screen, but if we actually get busy in real life to make this the kind of world we want it to be, the kind of world that we respect on screen, with real heroism and doing the right thing, we can change the world and have a great future as a planet. It's up to us.
Wow, that's Chase Masterson. That's amazing. That's Kerry Goldman, and it is popcultureherocoalition.com, popcultureherocoalition.com. And I love that at BeTerrific, we make your day brighter for even 5 minutes. You are the Terrifics. You make BeTerrific special. You're amazing. This is New York Comic-Con 2015. We'll be back with a whole lot more right after this. Don't go anywhere.